Hello, everybody, and welcome to Productivity for Solopreneurs, where each Wednesday at 1 p.m. I share insights to getting things done. And today is live number 119, and the topic is annoying or motivational. We all have the same 24 hours in the day. We're going to be talking about that and how I have felt in the past about that motivational quote. So, for those of you who do not know me, my name is Evie Burke, and I help entrepreneurs end the distraction in their business so they can increase their profitability. And we do that by looking at how they are approaching the day, what they're doing throughout the day, how they're planning the day, and also the things that they're doing outside of their in the office time, right? So how are they marketing? How are they approaching networking so that they're really spending their time and efforts in activities that get them the results that so, as I said, today's topic is all about the quote, we all have the same 24 hours in the day. And the question being, is that annoying or is that motivational? So, I would love it if you would leave me a comment with a quote that bugs you and why it bugs you, just so I know I'm not alone in the motivational quotes that bother me arena. And um, sorry, just comment popped up. So again, we all have the quote that bothers me anyway is we all have the same 24 hours in the day. How are you spending yours? Like that's generally a version of the quote that I hear. Another one is that I see sometimes is you have the same number of hours in the day as Einstein, Mother Teresa, Steve Jobs. A big one that's been popping around the last few years is Beyoncé, right? You all have the same number of hours in the day as those people. And intellectually, I get it. I'm supposed to hear that and think, yes, I can do anything. Look at how the great things that these great people were able to do with their 24 hours. I can do the same thing. There's nothing holding me back. But instead, when I hear this quote, I am transported back in time. Back to when my business was probably about a year old, maybe even after that. And I heard this quote for the very first time. And let me tell you, so frustrated and overwhelmed and tired. My business was making negative money while I was doing a lot of running around and a lot of work. And I heard this quote and I couldn't quite decide whether I wanted to cry or whether I wanted to scream. And I kept seeing how all those other people had created these great successes with their 24 hours while I had taken my 24 hours and I had put myself in debt. I had worn myself out and I saw no path out. And I really felt exactly the opposite of, or whatever the opposite of success is. However, you define the opposite of that, that is what I felt to my core. And boy, oh boy, did I judge myself so super harshly under that lens, as you can probably tell by the way I'm describing. And here's the problem. I was thinking about it from my perspective. I didn't think about or notice or contemplate, it never entered my mind, all of the overwhelmed, frustrated, tired, self doubt filled days that those successful people had, right? I only saw the success. I only saw, how I perceived them and the success that I saw them having. So I was comparing my worst days to their absolutely best days, right? And I couldn't help but feel that somebody ahead of me on the path of do whatever, but somebody ahead of me on the path said, here, catch this great tidbit of knowledge that I am bestowing on you. And I looked up to see, oh, what are they sending me? And I got hit square in the forehead with the big freaking brick that knocked me on my butt. And it hurt. And just, it felt like I'm sitting there on the ground with this piece of foundational knowledge that I'm supposed to take and do great things with. And I'm thinking, can I hug dead? Stop lobbing helpful bricks at me. A hug and maybe a lifeline, something I can do something with. And what would have been helpful had I had the ears to hear it was a gentle reminder that I was comparing the messy day-to-day that I was going through, that I felt like I was slogging through, to the perfectly lit and cropped picture that someone else was sharing, right? So I'm comparing the mess that I perceived myself to be in with the perfect picture that somebody else was perceiving, and I couldn't see what was cropped, or when the perfect lighting wasn't there, what did it look like, right? And it reminds me of a couple of other quotes. Excuse me. So one of them is, don't compare your inside to someone else's outside, because that's what I was doing, right? I was comparing all of the frustration and fear and self-doubt that I was feeling inside to what other people were projecting, whether it was in a book, on social media, at a networking event. But the thing was, I was projecting that perfect, things are great image too, even though that's not what was happening behind the scenes. And then the other quote, which is very similar, is, don't compare your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel, right? Because when you're writing a book, when you're posting things on social media, you get to control that narrative, right? You get to control what pictures get used, what stories you tell, what the lighting is, right? While when you're just going through your life, you're noticing, man, the dog peed on the carpet and I got to clean that up. And there's about 100 million other things that I want to do today other than clean up that pee, but here we are, right? And so that's what you're comparing, you're comparing that, like, oh, I don't want to do this today moment, to the perfect, sold out arena that Beyoncé had. Well, that's not fair. That's not fair to you. So don't do that. And it's so easy, though, to say don't do that, and not, and to be on the other side of it and say, but how? And so just give yourself a little space and a little grace. So some final thoughts. If a motivational quote really bothers you, it's okay. It's perfectly okay. And it could be an indicator that you're stressed out, that you're overwhelmed. And this is valuable knowledge. This is very helpful knowledge. And once you recognize it, you can do something about it. And it can also be an indicator that maybe that motivational quote isn't super well thought out, because in the case of, you have the same 24 hours as Beyoncé, yeah, and Beyoncé has a lot more resources at her disposal than most of us have, right? She has nannies to watch the kids. She has somebody that's cleaning the house for her. She has somebody that's probably making herself dinner. She has all of these people, this whole team of people around her to help things go smoother throughout the day. So does she have the same 24 hours? Well, no, because she also has the time of all of these people who are doing things for her. And can you do some of that in your business? Yes, but sometimes it takes time. So it's okay. And then the other thought is, if you share a motivational quote with somebody, one that you think is just super great, and they don't react maybe quite the way that you anticipated, or maybe you think they should, it's okay. Don't make them wrong about their interpretation, but it is a great opportunity to get curious and to find out how they interpreted the quote, and have a really nice discussion about it, because you might really learn something about them, and it might give you another perspective on that quote that you might not have thought about, and they might leave feeling a little bit better. So all of this talk about frustration around quotes, has made me wonder if there is a quote that you've beaten yourself up in the past. I'd love to know what that is if you want to share it in the comments. Or if you have a quote that when you hear it, it instantly transports you back in time, and what that quote is, and what time it transports you back to, whether it's a good place or a bad place, whatever that is for you. I'd love to know about it, and you can share it in the comments below. So if you find yourself in that overwhelmed, frustrated, slogging through the day place right now, reach out to somebody that you trust. Um, if nothing else, just tell them, you know what, I don't need advice. I don't need feedback. I just need to get some things off my chest. I know it can be a really lonely and scary place to be there, and I'm sure that you have people around you who would be your listening. And if you are a Wesos sister, then I know that there are any number of people that you can call, even if you don't know them super well, and just say, hey, I'm going through a difficult time. Would you be willing to spend the next 15, 20 minutes on this? Because I bet that if they answer the phone, I bet that they would. So if you want to reach out and contact me, you want to talk to me, reach out. You can fill out the contact me form on my website. And you can simply write 24 hours in the message field if you want me to be in the message field. If you want me to be that person that you just get some things off your chest with. And I will know because you put 24 hours in the message field that this is what's going on for you. So you won't have to be like, I'm going through, the messiness. You can just pop that in there in a little. So, one last thing, just kind of closing the book on that bit. I have a workshop coming up. It is on October 9th, which is a Wednesday. It starts at 9 o'clock. It's downtown Naperville. And we will be going over the secrets of how to be more productive every day. So we're going to be looking at how to stay focused, how to minimize distractions, what you can learn from your procrastination. And I'm going to walk you through how to do time blocking in a way that will really work for you, and a way that the right way, so to speak. So we're going to be diving into those topics there. It's $47. I would love it if a few of you could join us there. It's going to be a really great time, and there'll be plenty of time for questions and feedback as we go through the workshop. So I will include a link for that over in the description. And until next week, much love.